Hi everyone, it's Terry here. I'm sharing a process video of a scrap lift of one of Rebecca Moore's layouts to celebrate reaching 1500 subscribers over on YouTube. This is the fab fun layout that I chose of Rebecca's to scrapbook, and you'll see how different mine looks. So I'm using this photo from our recent wedding, and I'm going to create an aperture similar to what Rebecca's done with a heart shape, but I'm going to use patterned paper instead of white cardstock for mine. So I'm going to use the Maggie Holmes garden party collection because I'm using that for all my wedding photos. So I've just trimmed down this wood grain patterned paper and I'm just distressing the edges before cutting out the heart aperture. So I have got a heart shape that I used from a different layout, so I'm just going to use a pencil and draw around that and then use a craft knife and scissors to cut it out and then distress around the edge of the inside as well so that it matches the outside edges of the patterned paper. You'll see lots of layouts coming up over the next few months of my wedding, and I'm hoping to use mostly the same collection for all of them, with a little bit of Pink Fresh Studio The Best Day thrown in as well. So once I've sorted my aperture, then I want to add some mixed media to the background of the white cardstock, just like Rebecca's layout that I'm scrap lifting. So I've pulled out some stamp sets and some Distress Oxide. So I've got Distress Oxide in Spun Sugar, Speckled Egg and Scattered Straw, and the stamp set is from Garden Party, and also the wedding one that was brought out earlier this year by Heidi Swap. So I'm just using each colour to stamp in a rough area quite randomly with different stamps from the stamp set. So I've gone up with the florals first, and now I'm adding in some Mr. and Mrs. words, and then I'm going to pull out lots of different words and some heart shapes and just fill in the gaps basically. And you'll see it comes together quite quickly. I'm just going back in with some of the florals to add in some to some of the gaps, and now pulling in some more words. And this time I'm using an archival black ink as well, just to create a bit more pop there. So you can see I've pretty much covered most of the area now. So now I'm going to add my heart aperture back over the top to see what it looks like. So I want to make it so that some of the stamping is a little bit blurred almost, just give it less definition. So I'm just using some water and kind of activating the Distress Oxides just to make them kind of merge a little bit with each other. I'm trying not to do too much because I don't want to make mud, I just want to kind of give the background a bit of the colour of the stamping rather than a stark white background behind the stamps. So once I've done that, I'm just adding a doodled line around the heart aperture just to give it a bit more clarity and make it stand out a little bit more. And once the main body of the layout's now made, I'm going to focus on some embellishment and on my photo. So similar to Rebecca, I'm just using one photo, but rather than having it in a diagonal shape, I'm just using a landscape 3x4 photo, and this was actually taken when we were signing the register. So I'm just adding that to the bottom right hand corner of the heart aperture, and then I'm going to add in some of these floral fussy cut pieces that I'd already cut out from one of the patterned papers in the garden party collection that I'd used on a different layout. So I'm going to add the title Smile, and I do want to put it under the photo to start with, but unfortunately because of how the aperture is, it just didn't look quite right, like off to one side, so I decided to just put it up the side of my layout, photo. And that's not something I normally do, it's a bit unusual for me, but it's nice to mix it up a little bit. So I'm just adding in some more of those fussy cut florals, tucking them in under the heart aperture and also under the bottom area of my photo, similarly to where Rebecca's got some of her embellishment. So once I'm happy with that, then I move on to looking at what further embellishment I need. I could keep layering flowers up and up around here, but there does come a point when you just need to kind of say stop. So I think I've finished adding all the florals now, and I'm just looking through some of the ephemera that I've got, and I pulled out this favourite banner sticker just to add to the top right hand corner there of the photo. And on Rebecca's layout she had some strips of patterned paper top and bottom of her layout, so I wanted to do that as well. So I've just cut a few strips of patterned paper that I used for the mat of the photo, so it kind of ties it all in together. And again, because I've distressed the edges of the aperture and the outer frame, I'm doing that with these pieces of patterned paper as well. So I actually based my wedding colour scheme on the colours within the Maggie Holmes Garden Party collection. So I went with the pinks and the yellow tones that are in that collection. So it works really well with a lot of my photos. I think my florist was a little bit thought I was a little bit mad when I sent her loads of photos of patterned papers and things, but it all worked out in the end. So I'm just looking at whether I need to add some more of those florals, but the ones on the patterned paper are a little bit too big for adding top and bottom on those strips of patterned paper. So I pull out the puffy stickers, and they've got two small pink florals on there that I can use. I want to pull in some of the yellow flowers as well, and there's a few on the chipboard sheet, so I do pull them out. But I tend to take some of the layers of chipboard off so that they don't stand out quite so prominent on the layout. It just makes them a little bit thinner. So I do actually fussy cut out another of the yellow flowers just to add to the patterned paper, because I feel like I need a little bit more. And now it's kind of a time for finishing touches, so I'm adding some pearl like dots and some and you'll see they're in like the same colours that I've used for the stamping in the background of the aperture. So with the kind of a light pink, a yellow and a blue colour, and I'm just dotting them in and around where all the florals are, just to add a pretty detail towards the end. And because this layout's going in my album, my wedding album, I'm not going to add lots of journaling to it, it's just going to be a simple layout. As you can see, this is my finished layout. Thank you for joining me on Rebecca's YouTube hop today. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe, and I hope to see you here again soon. Bye for now.